I had a conversation with a startup this last week, and we're talking about domain names, of course, but the different types and ways to brand. Hey guys, Chris Zuiker with Media Options. I help companies to acquire their raw unfiltered brand for the lowest possible cost today. And if you haven't done it, check out MediaOptions.com, check out ChrisZuiker.com. We've got lots of information, videos, blog posts on domain names. But for this conversation, it was centered around this. Like, how do you brand? How does a startup brand themselves, okay? What I mean by branding is, do they go out with a made-up word? Do they go out with a one word that has it's an actual word, right, a definition? Or do they use two words? Like, what do they do? And so part of this conversation is he was reaching out at one of the domains that we were brokering. It was a one word, and the conversation went like, well, hey, I don't necessarily need that. We're looking at different directions. Maybe we're going to go with a made-up word, right? Because Google, they did it. Facebook, kind of, you can argue if that's a made-up word or not, putting two words together. But they used all these examples of other brands that are out there that made it. Now here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing that a lot of these founders and these startups and CMOs and just the industry doesn't understand is that you're going to pay for it. One way or the other, you're going to pay for your brand, okay? So if you do that, what they don't see is that those companies put millions and millions of dollars into their branding, into their marketing, into communicating their message and getting people to see, hey, this is a cool brand, right? This thing we call brand equity. Okay. Backtrack here a second here. Brand equity. What is brand equity? Brand equity is this ability for your brand to create trust, to create loyalty, to create leadership, which allows you to charge higher prices and to get repeat customers. Okay, so that's what brand equity. Now you can go into more definitions of brand equity, but for the sake of this conversation, this video, that's what I'm saying brand equity is. Okay, and so yes, you can do that, and go for it. Like, if you want to do that, but don't think you're not going to pay for it. Okay, and that's the misconception, is that they say, well, I'm just going to go out because this is cheap. Hey, listen, it's $10. Awesome, great, but you're going to put a lot of money into it just to get people to see that, okay? Because when they line up your brand to your competition, guess what? Your brand looks like it's a made-up brand, a made-up word, right? It doesn't maybe necessarily communicate preeminence. It just looks like it doesn't stand out in your customers' minds potentially. Okay, I don't know, but consider that possibility. What I do know is that you're going to have to put money into it. Now, second thing is this: is that you can buy a domain and you can buy a category, one word domain that's in English, like that's an actual word. Okay, now, but you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it. Okay, but what that word brings to you is it brings to you inherent equity already built into it. Okay, this inherent equity that's built in, maybe it's because of the way that the domain comes across, the aspiration level. Okay, if you look, there was a couple posts at coins.com sold for, I think, $1 million. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments section. But there's a lot of different domains. You can go on the sites and you can look at all the different domains that sold over last year. And they sold because they had equity built into them. Okay, this is what creates value and why we say that domains have value, they're assets, because there's an inherent equity built into it. How can you tell this equity? You can tell it a couple different ways, okay? You can tell it by the search that's into that keyword. Okay, what's the search? So like a quilt.com has this inherent equity built into it, okay? There's a lot of searches. I don't have it in front of me. I've done a couple of videos on it, but listen, there's a lot of searches. There are companies that are willing to pay money, CPC, right? The cost per click, or PPC, whatever one you want to use, but they're willing to pay for that, okay? And so this equation between search, between the money they're going to pay, between the goodwill that's in that domain name, between the trade win and the momentum that's in for that keyword, is what you're acquiring. You're acquiring that equity that then is able to, you have this, imagine you're in a sailboat, okay? It's kind of like in a sailboat, and you get this, you're taking this brand, and you got this trade win that's already pushing you, okay? And so you're paying for that momentum for your brand. Now, the other way, if you just make up a word, listen, you're in that sailboat, but there's no wind, right? You've got to create the momentum and create the wind and get going. And that's why you see a lot of companies, a lot of startups, a lot of serial entrepreneurs will pay the money to acquire a one-word domain name. Now, I get it, okay, you say, well, I can't afford it. Okay, I don't want to buy it right now. I'm going to go with a different variation of that. Well, guess what? You're going to pay for that also. Because what's going to happen is that you're going to end up driving traffic to the .com. You're going to pay for that. if another brand acquires the .com and the raw unfiltered version, now they own the messaging for your keyword, your brand, what you call yourself. There's a lot of examples out there. I use nitro.com, I use bark.com, okay, there's bark.us, there's so many examples, but you're gonna be paying for it. Now, the big risk is this, is that it's not taken today, but another company comes in, acquires that after you get going, and it impacts your ability to scale, okay? And this impacts your ability to scale because you're putting more money into it. Today you're like, hey, I'm getting $1.20 back, $1.30 back for every dollar I put into marketing. Awesome, great. Listen, at some point what happens is that another company acquires that, and now that is significantly reduced. Maybe it's even in the negative. I don't know, it depends on industry, it depends on brand, it depends on who acquires that domain name. But what I do know is that it's going to have an impact. So, in recapping, here's the thing, is that you're going to pay for it either way, okay? But the surest way, the way with the less risk for your brand, is to acquire the .com domain name. And that's what I was communicating. And what I like to say is that, listen, we can debate price and cost all day long, but what we should not be debating is that you need to own your domain name online. I'm going long here. Hope you enjoyed this video. It wasn't a quick video. Hope you enjoyed it. Going over to chriszuiker.com, check my blog out. I do a daily podcast, and I'm starting to post those with some keynotes. So if you want a quick read, you can go on over there to chriszuiker.com. Check our YouTube out. Also check Media Options out. Check MediaOptions.tv out, because that's our YouTube site. And if you get any value from this, I appreciate it if you share it up.